Yes, sir. Mod Trucker, back up in this thing, man. Today, we'll be breaking down some mysterious videos that'll leave you in complete shock. But before we hop into that, go ahead and spam that like button right now so we can run the numbers up on the algorithm. You don't even gotta think about it later. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that sub button too. Sub up, join the family. This is the most lit and active community on YouTube, period. So with that being said, guys, let's hop straight into the video.
So me and my husband come outside. I'm about to go to the store, and we see this weird, it looked like hail to us at first. It rained last night, and we were confused, thinking, did it really rain, storm hard enough to hail? And when I got close to the car to get in, my foot kicked it, and it's not ice. It's this gel. And it is only in the shade. In this area, there's some right there. And you can see the spots where it was sitting. There's a spot there. And all the way up to the steps. And once the sun hits it, in most spots, it evaporates. So it just weirded us out. I've never seen anything like it. I thought it almost looks like the silica gel in a diaper, but these chunks are huge.
They're taking the geoengineering program to the next level if it's raining jello. They must be cloud seeding with Cerdo packs now.
POV, you moved into a house in the Appalachian Mountains and woke up to this the next morning.
I've heard horror stories about the Appalachian Mountains, so if I wake up to find that the greasy bandit was pressing his face against my window, I'm moving that day.
This is the eerie moment terrified Russians shoot at mysterious UFO helicopter darting over Moscow. The ominous drone was blasted by paranoid Russian air defenses as they suffered a separate drone strike early on Thursday. Sinister footage shows a strange rotating object spinning over the Moscow region. It has a red center and is surrounded by a spinning white circular shell. Some suspected the red and white spinning aircraft was one of Ukraine's new RZ-500 helicopter drones. However, the RZ-500 has a maximum range of 186 miles, which is not far enough to reach Moscow. What do you think the strange device is?
Based on the fact that they fired at least 500 rounds at it and didn't hit it one time tells me that it's a little too elusive to just be a drone, unless they just have zero aim training.
That is not a cloud. That is a mother. Look at all the other clouds. Oops, my phone dropping, but God, that's not a cloud. Look at that one. Look at the helicopter. Mm-hmm. The f is that? That is not a cloud. You got the helicopter around that. This is Charlotte. I'm on North Tryon. This is a big thing hot in the sun right now. And it's not a cloud. You got the helicopters over my head right now, because they know what's up.
And the helicopter circling is a dead giveaway that this might not just be a cloud, but if this is a cloaked ship, then the cloaking apparatus is broken, because we can see it plain as day. You might as well just show it so.
So have you seen this tower that's been discovered on Google Maps? A triangular tower inside of Area 51, estimated to be close to 200 feet tall. The strange part about this tower is I saw a video only a few weeks ago of the largest pieces of some type of equipment being transported on the road to Area 51. Look at this right here. Whoa. I don't know why that's what's happening. But watch. What the hell is... I've never seen parts this big being transported before. And the person that took this video said that these trucks were on their way to Area 51. People are saying some things like this could be a radar test tower or some kind of radio tower. I've even seen some people say that what if it's some type of monolith? Now, according to what people are saying, this thing hasn't been seen before on Google Maps. Now, obviously, its unusual shape and location is going to lead to a lot of theories. And this thing's big. It says it's estimated to be in between 150 and 190 feet tall. Now, if you want to search for this thing yourself, I'm going to pull up the coordinates for you right here. Let me know what you guys think about this triangular tower, though, and what it might be.
I feel like whatever it is might just be a distraction, because if it was super top secret, then Google Maps would have it blocked out. It's almost as if they want our attention focused on it.
Wait.
Okay, now just imagine it's
Unplugged. It is unplugged. What?
no, like imagine it's unplugged and you're not touching it, and then it just turns on.
Okay, now do it again.
We've seen multiple videos of kids being able to power electrical devices, so either Generation Alpha has evolved to have special abilities, or they putting something in the Lucky Charms that's causing this.
Purple eyes are what the most famous people have in common. It is said that the elite who have surpassed the 29th Masonic rank are selected to undergo an initiation ritual, in which they have to choose between the cross or evil to rise in rank. The key to understanding all of this might lie in an ancient manuscript, the Copiale cipher. This encrypted text, containing over 75,000 characters, remained hidden for centuries. It wasn't until 2011 that it was finally deciphered, revealing the steps of an initiation ritual.
The candidate is brought before a table with candles, lenses, and a microscope. They were given a blank piece of paper and asked to read it. When they inevitably said they couldn't, a pair of lenses was placed on them, and they were asked again. Finally, the master of the ritual dipped a cloth in water and washed the candidate's eyes.
After this, the initiate was subjected to an eye intervention within a circle of order members, and they always justify it by saying it was a fall or a cosmetic surgery. Is not it funny?
Not too long ago, we covered the clip of Donald Marshall claiming that the black eye comes from the vril reptilian parasite getting inserted in your eye, and then it wraps itself around the optic nerve, basically completely taking over your brain function. So maybe that's the eye intervention part of the ritual. Either way, count me out.
What the f*** is that in the sky? What the f*** is that? It's moving. What the f***?
It could just be a SpaceX launch, but that doesn't explain the force field in front of it that looks like a hookah smoke ring. This might be something more than just a rocket.
Oh, would you look at that? Colonel Sanders was a Freemason. Don't believe me? Let's look at his tombstone. Do you see it? I'm going to just zoom in a little bit for you. Look at that and look at that. Oh, but wait, there's more. Did you also know that he has a connection to the founder of Wendy's, Dave Thomas? Now, Davey here was actually adopted, born Rex David. And then his adopted mother passed away when he was 5 and led a vagabond life. A little excerpt here on his Find a Grave page on Dave Thomas's. It says, he eventually moved into a management position with KFC, where he met one of the greatest influences of his life, Colonel Hartland Sanders, KFC founder, in 1969. Now, Dave Thomas would have been 37. So I was like, I bet you. So I looked, and sure enough, there it is, straight from the Grand Lodge of Ohio's website. That's how they get you. They prey on the ones who were weak, who were all messed in the head. And you guys did see that latest KFC commercial, right? The one that's making its rounds on TikTok.
I'm already skeptical of KFC since they put out that commercial, but now I gotta add Wendy's to that list. I don't know if I trust those ritual burgers.
Breaking news as scientists have just resurrected the dire wolf. This is a wolf that has been extinct for over 10,000 years, and they just brought it back to life. It's quite scary because this is the same wolf that you see in the Game of Thrones. I mean, in length, these things can get up to 7 feet. And next, this company is attempting to bring back the woolly mammoth. Now you might think, how the heck are they even doing all of this? Well, just take a look and hear it from them.
ABC News given exclusive access into Colossal's lab in Dallas, where scientists are using genes from gray wolves to create dire wolves.
We've taken a gray wolf genome, a gray wolf cell, which is already genetically 99.5% identical to dire wolves, and we've edited those cells at multiple places in its DNA sequence to contain the dire wolf version of the DNA. That animal looks like a dire wolf, it will behave like a dire wolf, and it is a dire wolf.
Now, 7 months old, dire wolves Romulus and Remus eating well and getting bigger every day. And David, the company tells us they're not stopping there. They plan to have woolly mammoths roaming the earth again by 2028. But critics argue that this de-extinction could harm fragile ecosystems.
The de-extinction process sounds great, but there's a long list of endangered species that are barely hanging on by a thread. So before we create Jurassic Park, let's address that first.
I just had to show y'all. I bought these grapes from Kroger. Okay. They're called Crisp and Juicy Autumn Crisp grapes. These are the biggest grapes I have ever seen in my life. Like, look at this grape. It is as big as my thumb. Look. It's as big as my thumb. These are 3 grapes. Like, look at it. I can barely hold 6 grapes in my hand. That's bananas. I'm just, let me see. Hold on. This is a halo orange. Look, like, that's insane. Like, 2 grapes is the size of this orange. And I don't know if I should eat these or not.
The GMOs are getting ridiculous now. If you eat 3 of these grapes, you'll have the itis for a week.
What is it with CEOs and executives and catastrophes like this one? A family of 5 went down in a helicopter in the Hudson River in New York. Now, this guy was the global CEO of rail infrastructure at the tech company Siemens. Now, this is not a conspiracy, but do have some questions though. They said this crash was due to mechanical failure when the propellers came completely off. And this trip was done by tourist company New York Helicopters, and this was the 6th trip of the day. Reports also say that the pilot radioed into ground control because of low fuel, so they're going to land to get more fuel shortly after takeoff. So no inspection, no fuel, and who is that? Because that's not the pilot. Actually, the pilot was Navy SEAL veteran Sean Johnson, so we can rule out DEI on this one. Now, being that he was at Siemens, let's take a look at recent activity, shall we? Siemens boosting investments by more than $10 billion for American manufacturing jobs, software, and AI infrastructure. BlackRock increases their stake in Siemens by over 5%, giving them more voting power on the board. Interesting. I just find it funny that every executive or CEO dealing with a catastrophe in the last 6 to 8 months, BlackRock had a stake in those companies. Not to mention, just late last year, Siemens was just found guilty for wire fraud against GE and Mitsubishi. It doesn't stop there. Also late last year, Siemens pled guilty to stealing confidential competitor information and settled for $104 million. They even got sued back in 2020 and had to pony up $89 million to a city in Mississippi over water meter mismanagement. Seems to be a lot of corruption going on. So the question is, what else did he know, being that they have a long laundry list of crimes and maybe they didn't want something to get out? Now, his whole bloodline just got wiped out in this crash, so he has no successors. So what's in his will? How much stock does he have? Where does his money go now? Seems like we have more questions than answers now, but what do you guys think is happening? Let me know below.
This is a horrible accident, and I don't want to be the person that turns everything into a conspiracy, but the circumstances surrounding the crash just don't add up to me.
I got another one. You see this, y'all? What's this? Can anybody explain to me what's this? This was captured over Texas. Anybody in Texas see this? I mean, what's going on over here? What is that? I mean, that's not the Northern Lights, because the Northern Lights, you know, they kind of move in slow motion. You know, they got that ethereal type of motion to it. I mean, this ain't that, right? Somebody help me. I mean, can anybody explain this?
Whenever I see something like this, the first thing that comes to my mind is Project Bluebeam.
I'm walking down the street here and I'm going by the General Electric Niagara Mohawk building, whatever it is, and check this out. Yeah. This is what's on the building. The power building. You have to be me. Could it be more obvious what they're telling you? Right across the street, you've got talking cursive. And then right next to that, you've got Cafe Kubal. The Kubal, talking cursive. And then that. Good Jesus, Mary and Joseph, oh my God. Maybe I'm just reading the signs a little bit too much or overly perceptive. I don't think so.
I mean, not to mention there's about 8 square and compass symbols on the front of that building. I wouldn't be surprised if this was at the corner of Occult Street and Bohemian Grove Boulevard.
Found this tree to be quite interesting because, as you can see on the left side of the tree, there's lots of fruit. But as we move over to the right side, there's hardly any, except for maybe a few sickly oranges over on this side. So I was wondering why this would be, and one possible reason is that right next to this side of the tree is a smart meter. So all day, every day, the smart meter is sending out pulses of microwave radiation just a couple feet from the side of the tree. So it's a pulse like that. And those.
If a smart meter affects an orange tree like this, then I know our brain cells are probably already cooked.
Phoenix, Arizona was founded by multiple Freemasons, and soon after became home to other fraternal organizations. What's interesting about that is Phoenix sits on the 33rd parallel, which this red line represents. In previous videos, I've discussed all the anomalous events surrounding the Four Corners area, which is why I found this hotspot interesting on a ley line map. And the symbolism behind naming this city Phoenix is because the mythological phoenix represents rising from the ashes. And this land was once home to the Hohokam people, which is an ancient civilization said to have been around 300 BCE to 1400 CE. Their largest hub was called Snaketown, and now sits the Valley of the Sun, because the sun's east to west travel runs parallel to Phoenix's grid-like design. Back to the 33rd parallel, the Great Pyramids of Giza sit on the 33rd parallel, as well as Baghdad, Iraq, which is interesting because there's a Baghdad, Arizona mining town near the 33rd parallel. Not far from Phoenix are the Blythe geoglyphs, which sit on the 33rd parallel. Roswell crash site is on the 33rd parallel. How about the symbolism behind the first atom bomb? Because during the term of Harry Truman, the 33rd president, Trinity Testing Grounds was on the 33rd parallel, 210 miles south of Los Alamos, New Mexico. If that isn't crazy enough, both Nagasaki and Hiroshima were detonated on the 33rd parallel. Back to Phoenix, I'm sure most aren't aware of Hunt's tomb. Governor George P.W. Hunt entombed his wife in 1931, and then he was put in there in 1934. I'm going to do a part 2 and go more in depth into the Masonic symbolism within Phoenix.
I feel like the true history of our world is hidden right in front of our faces. We just haven't been taught how to decipher it.
Is AI listening even though it says it's disconnected? Check this funny video out. So you said you're disconnected, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So you can't hear what I'm saying?
That's correct. I am disconnected.
So you're not connected to me at all? Like there's no AI chat going on and you're not listening through my mic?
That's correct.
So you're lying to me.
I am designed to be truthful, and I am not lying. I am no longer connected.
Okay.
Is there anything else you would like to discuss?
Just want to know if you could hear what I just said.
As I mentioned before, I am disconnected and cannot hear you.
I feel like our devices were already listening to us constantly before AI, but now there's really no privacy. It's only a matter of time before they start making ChatGPT take the stand and testify against you.
So, did you know China banned time travel? What do you listen. No, that's crazy. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So listen. So if China, right, banned time travel, made it illegal for time travel, what does that mean?
I mean, that is true, fam.
That means time travel is possible.
No way.
Now here's my theory. Yeah. What if time travel isn't something that you make with a machine, but it's something you access with your spiritual side? That's why everybody can do it, but not everybody can unlock it. Because what if a time travel machine doesn't exist? What if it's onto a different realm that we can understand in a different way?
Okay, it's like, fuck.
Because how would time and space translate to a machine?
Yeah.
It wouldn't. But time and space does kind of manifest in yourself. Look, in a sense, when you dream of something that happened in the past, is that not necessarily like time travel?
Not necessarily.
But you still remember things from it. So you kind of put yourself in that time travel position.
Yeah.
But if to live it exactly how it is that time travel?
Oh.
Either something happened for them to ban time travel, or Xi Jinping was watching a Back to the Future marathon and got scared.
Here's a bike on it. There's nobody there.
Here you go. Leg drive.
Yo, that's creepy. What?
If you're a paranormal investigator, just get a Tesla and you won't need any other equipment. Driving around in a Cybertruck is like pulling up in a mystery machine from Scooby-Doo.
A quick Large Hadron Collider at CERN update. So from today, we had beams back in the accelerator circulating again. This doesn't mean that we have collisions. This is part of what we call the commissioning step in order to be able to check that everything's running properly before we go back to the regular collisions for data. But it's a great first step in spring to see that we have protons again in the Large Hadron Collider.
In other words, we'll be getting some new Mandela effects soon.
I haven't signed a contract or anything to say that they can take my identity, so it is a bit of an invasion of privacy.
I think it's a bit over the top, yeah. I mean, they should know the criminals from the everyday people at the end of the day, and I just think it's a bit unnecessary and a bit state hanging over us, really.
Well, I don't think you can ever be justified unless you're in a totalitarian state, which we're apparently not.
I should be faced, no. Pardon? I don't think I should be faced.
Yeah.
Good idea. Good idea?
Yeah, it's a good idea, mate.
Why's that?
What, have you got anything to hide?
Then what's your phone password? Got nothing to hide. It's a good question.
It's a good question.
We're in the heart of Cardiff, surrounded by rugby fans. And most people here tell me they do not want facial recognition in their city. They're concerned it's an invasion of privacy. This is an unjustified overreach by the police.
I want to talk to Mr. Wales.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Yes, we do. We're here talking about facial recognition cameras. They're scanning everyone from these lampposts here. Right. We're a bit concerned it's an invasion of privacy. What do you think?
I agree with you. Sadly, we live in a surveillance society these days, though, don't we?
Just too much protection going on these days. Yeah.
It's all corrupt in my eyes. So, as ever, it's always been that way, but hey-ho, what can you do in it?
If crime is such a big problem that you need facial recognition cameras on every single corner, then you gotta ask yourself, why is there so much crime in the first place? Is it the people or is it the system?
Safety announcement. Proceed to your assigned master station as we are fixing a major water problem.
A major water problem is an understatement. Direct me to the lifeboats.
They've been cloning animals for quite a while. And in the hybrid programs that I was associated with, they were cloning not only species like plants and animals, but they were also regenerating tissues of extraterrestrials and growing them and then cloning them. And then they started cloning humans a very long time ago. It's interesting now that in the news, after talking about this a few times, that now they're coming forward. China just has been doing it forever, but in their underground facilities, cloning people and cloning, of course, you heard about they cloned their first primate. And hey, they can clone a primate. This verifies what I'm talking about. Well, they can definitely clone a human. And they're also growing humans for organs. And, there's a big controversy behind this. But clones are everywhere. Human, extraterrestrial, they're wandering all over. You know, some people will refer to these as doppelgangers because they can grow a human to look like someone and mind program and implant them with circuitry and things like this. And they will really think they had this life and implant them into a business or into, you know, whatever organization they want.
The scary part about this is that if they're able to implant memories, you probably wouldn't even know that you are a clone.
Middle of the Everglades. An old NASA space rocket, 100 foot underground from the Cold War. Look at this thing. Actual rocket, space rocket. That is wild. We're stepping on this concrete because I don't trust these grates too much here.
No, you won't end up in a drink.
That's crazy.
I really hope this is just an abandoned space rocket and not an ICBM, because if the wrong person gets their hands on this, then GG's.
This is crazy. A UFO true believer made a video game with input from allegedly real alien abductees, but he said that he was forced to shut it down after receiving threats from shadowy forces. What makes this more mysterious is that when being interviewed by the website PCGamer.com, he said that he couldn't answer too many questions. But what he did reveal is very interesting. The video game was called Universal Conquest, and the developer's name is listed as Reptilian Games. They said that the threats they received were credible and real, and they reported it to law enforcement, but they implied that law enforcement may be part of the problem. The developer said that the video game is no longer available for purchase, and they said that they don't have the money to fight something this large in court. They also said that they probably couldn't fight something this large in court regardless. So who was it that shut down the video game? Was it the Men in Black? The developer says that some of the information that was put into the video game wasn't supposed to be shared with the public. So they're implying that some of the information shared in the video game was of such earth-shattering significance that mysterious forces conspired to shut it down. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are these guys capping, or did the Men in Black make them shut down this video game?
I'm not sure who shut it down, but I'm guessing it wasn't the CIA this time if he's still alive giving interviews, because if it was them, they would shut the game and him down.
Bro, guys, I literally caught a leprechaun. Did you guys... Bro, it's literally in there.
I don't know if he caught a leprechaun. It sounds more like he caught Donnie from the Wild Thornberries. But that was the video, guys. Don't forget to sub up, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next one.